I'm finding it is only these kinds of systems that are getting me motivated nowadays. Before I get into that, I want to tell you about just my last couple of months here where I've been really struggling with motivation altogether. And what I've really come to a new clarity around is that this motivation problem has come a lot from my own brain structure, otherwise known as ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. But really, it's a motivation deficit disorder. It's a motivation deficit. That's what I've been really learning. And if you're ADHD, like I am, or ADD or whatever, then you might benefit from a system like this. So, how does it work? Very simple. It's putting the consequences of what you want to be doing in the present moment as much as you can. So what I've found is that as an ADHD individual, you really don't have a concept of time. It's either now or it doesn't exist. There's these ideas of like a failure, or these ideas of what our goals are going to create, or people can visualize how awesome it's going to be when they can create it. ADHD people can't really do that too well. I have a poor ability to visualize, and I'm pretty sure it's because of the ADHD brain I got, which basically means the front part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, is not developed completely. There is deficits in its development. And as heartbreaking as it is to find out, it's like, okay, well, fuck, like, I'm here now. This is the kind of machine I got. We don't have the fucking technology to fix this shit. Yeah, you can medicate, and I'm considering that as well. But there's drawbacks to those kinds of solutions. But maybe on top of that, on top of trying medications or and doing everything else, creating systems like these can help. Because if you're like me, it's like if there's no deadline, it never gets done. If there's no consequence, it never gets done. Or let's say if it's Monday and it's got to be finished on Friday at 10 o'clock, you start at 9 p.m. on Friday. That kind of thing. And so this system here is something that has originally started with just a bet with this called the really, you're just using the skydiving jar. Now, if you like skydiving, pick something that you don't like. Something that is terrifying to you, pick that. And use this as a pool for your consequences. So it originally started with me identifying that, okay, if I can just wake up on time and actually get up and stay up, then my day is good. So I started with, okay, I'm going to make a $50 bet, a $100 bet to make sure I get the hell out of bed on time and actually stay out of bed. And if I can't do that, then it goes right in the jar, a little bit closer to throwing me out of a plane. And now I realized, it was a cool system, at the time, and I didn't realize what I was actually doing. Now I know that what I was actually doing was creating an immediate consequence, because you don't really feel an immediate consequence for sleeping in. It's not good, logically, but in the moment, emotionally, it's whatever. So for me to design my perfect days, or to design, let's say, just better days, this is something I've been doing. So the first thing, right? first $20 is, okay, I get up at this time. So today I decided to get up, okay, between 7 and 7:05 a.m. I got to be up, right? And out of bed. Like, okay. So, no snoozing or anything like that, right? As soon as the alarm rings. That was good. And then the next 3 is just whatever next 3 things you want to do on your to-do list. So I really like this idea, just having 3 things, because typically, we can make our to-do list so long, but really, in practice, try to just have the 3 most important, most needle-moving tasks. And just having 3, by making them reasonably sized, not too big, but big enough where by the time you finish the 3rd one, you have that momentum already. You have that momentum of crushing your goals and taking action now. And this is going to help you massively. And then the last one is the most important, which is getting to bed on time. If you're like everyone else, getting to bed on time is the most difficult thing. Most of the time it's because we don't value going to sleep. And to that, I would highly recommend looking at the Joe Rogan podcast, where Joe Rogan had Matthew Walker on his podcast. Just watching that one podcast alone completely changed my paradigm forever of how important sleep is. And then the way the system works is every single day I have $20 on the line for each individual bet that I make, and it works quite well. And what's really interesting about managing ADHD with these strategies is that how even some of the most arbitrary things, even the most arbitrary systems tend to work. We just need something, an idea that's in our mind, like, hey, this is the time to do it, or else, there's a consequence, or else I'm losing $20 towards this thing that I don't want to do. And that's very, very useful. And I highly recommend actually making it monetary like that. I mean, if you really think about it, right? If you're actually really committed to yourself and to getting it done, then you would have no problem making simple bets like this, right? And if you're making bets, you'd be sure to not stretch it too much, but also have the courage to have it not just be like something so small. It's like, well, why did I even make the bet in the first place, right? Pick those activities, make the bets, do the hardest things. Maybe it's making a hard phone call for that day, and do it every single day. Every single day you have, you schedule it out. This is aligning with the philosophy of planning your day the day before. This really helps. And then concluding thoughts is try it out for yourself. Make bets on certain things and just watch how well you actually get things done. I've noticed just creating some sort of thing to fear, to run away from, some sort of consequence, really works, especially for an ADHD brain. And if you can actually commit to this kind of system, day after day, you'll notice quite a bit of results in your life of just being able to be someone that gets out of bed on time, goes to bed on time, get your top 3 things done. And yeah, this is just one system that I have implemented, and it's worked in the past, and now this is like my new rendition part, like having like 5 bets a day. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.